Multiplying whole numbers. So this is something that we learned very early in the beginning of the year. So in 4th grade, you learned a lot about the area model. In 5th grade, the standard is to learn standard algorithm. So again, standard algorithm, if we had, let's say 732, and we multiplied it by, let's say 24. Standard algorithm means that you take this number right here as the ones digit, and you multiply it by every single digit in the other number. So in this case, we have 4 times 2, which is 8. Then we do 4 times 3, which is 12. So we put a 2 and then we carry our 1. And then we have 4 times 7, which is 28, but we have to add this 1. So that means that we have 29. So we handled the 4. Now we're going to do the 2, but the 2 is not really a regular 2, right? The 2 actually represents a 20. So because it's a 20, I'm going to put this placeholder 0 down here and then pretend like it's just a 2. So now I have 2 times 2, which is 4. Again, because if we pretended it was a 20, 20 times 2 is 40. So that's why we add this 0. Then we have 2 times 3, which is 6. And then 2 times 7, which is 14. So now these two are what we call partial products. We have to add them together to get the actual product. So if we add the 2, we get 8 plus 0, which is 8. We get 2 plus 4, which is 6. We get 9 plus 6, which is 15. So we carry the 1. We get 1 plus 2 plus 4, which is 7. And then we get 1 by itself. So our answer to 732 times 24 is 17,568. So with multiplying with decimals, it's pretty similar to whole numbers, but we want to pretend like the decimal isn't there and then put it in at the end. So if we have something like 7.3 and we multiply it by 2.6. So first we figure out how many decimal numbers do we have. We have 1 3 and 1 6. So that means we have 2 decimal numbers. So I'm just going to put that here so we remember at the end. So now I'm going to pretend like the decimals aren't there. So now we have 73 and we multiply it by 26. So then when we get our answer, we're going to make sure we factor in that there were 2 decimal numbers. So we have, again, a standard algorithm. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 7 is 42 plus 1 is 43. Then we handle our 2, but our 2 is really a 20. So we're going to put a placeholder 0 here. And then we have 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 2 times 7, which is 14. Then we add our partial products. We get 8, 9, 8, 1. So again, this says 1,898. I know just from estimating that 7.3 is close to 7 and 2.6 is close to 3. So 7 times 3 is close to 21. So I know for sure that 1,898 is not the answer because, again, we have to factor in our 2 decimal numbers. We had 2 decimal numbers in the question, so we have to have 2 in our answer. So our decimal point goes right here. So we have 1, 2 decimal numbers in our answer. So our answer to this is 18.98. So in multiplying fractions, this is really the same thing as like repeated addition. So if we have, let's say you had 1/3 and you multiplied it by 7. You're basically saying that you have 7 different 1/3. So you have 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, and then 7/3. So our answer here is just 7/3. So if you can see, that's actually the same thing as just multiplying across. Because again, this 7 really is like saying you have 7 ones or 7 1/2. So if you multiply 1 times 7, you get 7, and 3 times 1, you get 3. So let's try it with another one. If you had 2/4 or 1/2, and you multiply it by 1/3. So again, you multiply across. So you're doing 2 times 1, which is 2, and 4 times 3, which is 12. 2/12 is the same thing as 1/6 if you remember reducing fractions. So how this looks, if we again have 2/4, so that means this, and you're multiplying it by 1/3. So multiplying it by a whole number means you're making it bigger. If you're multiplying it by something that is less than one whole, it means it's becoming smaller. So you're basically splitting up your 2/4 into thirds. So if you see here, now each of these pieces that you have from the 2/4, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means each of these pieces is 1/6. 1/6. So again, if you had 2/4 and you multiplied it by 1/3, your answer is 1/6.